how important this conversation.
I need an interview, I'm trying to get down with you. I need an interview, I'm trying to get down with you. I need an interview, I'm trying to get down with you. Get down with you, get down with you. I need an interview.
All right, symphony.com. I am sitting here with Easalio. I'm excited to get into this interview because I've been kind of trying to catch him. He's like J Electronica for me. You know how they can never find him? Like, that's how I feel. So I wrote this a while ago and I actually had to tweak it because, you know, the interview is now. But I'm really excited to talk to him. I think he's gonna have a lot of great things to say. And I know this without even pre-gaming. Like, I haven't talked to him before. I just know that he's gonna be great. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself and then we're going to get into our questions. Go ahead.
What's up? I go by Easalio. I am a member of the Worldwide Paper Gang, which includes me, Matthew Ragazzino, and a couple of my homies in NY, my homie Ace out here. Me and Ace together form Steady Fam, you know what I'm saying? We've been a group together since actually before high school, really. But yeah, I'm from Richmond, Virginia. You know what I mean? And you can find my work all over the internet for right now. Hopefully I'll be in your store shortly.
Okay. That's ill. Okay, so I have to tell you why I call these 5.8 conversations. Now, Dom Kennedy has a song called 5.0 Conversations where he talks about, you know, being in the car. And that's actually the theme song for my interviews. But I think that Skype interviews allow you to be more personal with the person. Because the only other conversation that's this personal is in the car. But since we're in different states, you know, I think that it's cool to get the person on Skype because it's like you can't escape. I mean, you could always hit end call, but you know, it's kind of like, you know, what you say is kind of more intimate than it being other people. You know what I mean? So I kind of like to get that side of people. So that's why it's a 5.8 conversation. So welcome aboard, and let's hop into the first question. So, can you tell me the first bars you ever wrote? Corny or not corny?
I cannot tell you the first bars I ever wrote. I actually don't even remember when I started rapping. My first recollection of me actually rhyming is when I was probably it had to be about 6 or 7 years old. And I was with my uncle and my older cousin, his son. And my uncle had me and my cousin, I guess, just rhyming for him. I don't know if it was for his amusement, you know what I mean? Or, you know, trying to mold us in the culture. But yeah, this was very early on, like at least 93, 94, because we were at my great grandmother's house and she was still alive at the time.
Okay.
And yeah, like I don't remember the first bars I wrote, but that's the first time I can remember actually, you know, rapping out loud in front of somebody. And I know if it was like I always told myself that I was born, you know what I'm saying, not necessarily born to do this, but born in, you know, hip hop, because my dad was a DJ.
Okay.
When he was young around the time, and you know, my parents had me young. My mom was 20. Well, she turned 21 2 days after she had me, and my dad was about 3 or 4 years older than her, so he was around 24, 25. So, you know, you can imagine being that age in New York at the time.
Okay.
You know how much hip hop culture was just around the family. So
I mean, because New York
like
is hip hop. I mean,
yeah, I always felt like I've been, you know, in it since I was born. So I can't remember when I actually first took interest in it. I just remember that one instance when I was with my uncle and my cousin. I don't know why it stands out to me for some reason, but yeah, that's the first recollection I can have of me actually rhyming. I don't remember the first bars I ever wrote, but I mean, that was the first memory I have of me rapping.
But when did you know that it was actually your passion? I mean, I know in that moment, you know, you're doing it and it's fun, like you remember it. But when did it click that this was for you?
Definitely in like middle school, probably around 6th, 7th grade is actually when I first like when I started, carrying notebooks to school and, caring about my rhymes and writing them down and revising them, once you get to the point of, you going back and revising your rhymes, you actually realize that you care about it enough to spend that time on it, you know what I'm saying? You're not
Absolutely.
just, writing whatever, you supposed to write whatever comes to your mind, but when you get to that point where you're actually taking time to formulate structured flows and make sure what you're writing isn't necessarily untrue, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Then you realize that you care about it to a certain extent, that you kind of want to make it your passion, your future, And at that time, that is when I met my brother Ace, who is is a steady fan with me.
Right.
And that's when we clicked in the 6th grade, when we both found out, like, yo, we're both carrying our notebooks to school, writing rhymes, and like we're the only kids doing this in the school. We have a common bond. So, that's how Steady Fam kind of got started right there.
Okay, cool. That's cool. So do you still write in a notebook? Because I know some people stray away from that. It's like, let's get in the booth and let me just freestyle, or let me write it in my phone. A lot of people don't do the pen and pad thing that we were used to.
It really just depends where I'm at and how I feel. Like, if I'm writing rhymes at work or something, or if I feel in a certain type of mood at home, I'll write them in a notebook with a pen, because sometimes I actually like the aesthetics of writing with a decent pen in a good notebook. If you have something really important to say. But
absolutely.
If I'm being lazy, I actually just, like, if I'm at my desk writing rhymes and being lazy, I actually just, like, put the voice memo on my phone and just record a voice memo of myself, spitting what I'm trying to write. Or, sometimes I'll do the notepad on the phone.
Okay.
And, if I'm really, really into something, like if I'm writing a song for like a couple of days or so, and that's like the only song I'm messing with, and I'm not like doing any outside beats or anything, then I won't write those lyrics down at all, because those will just be in your head.
Right.
Of course, it's just repetition of going over the song that you're trying to write.
Right. That's ill. I mean, a lot of people don't, they pretend that they never touch a pen and a pad. That's like that stigma. Like, oh, if I say I freestyle, that makes me better. Nope, it doesn't actually. So
honestly, if you train your brain enough, it's not hard to write rhymes without a pen and a pad. All it is just going over the same verse, a couple of times. Some people probably have the skill to go over their verses in their head only probably like 3 or 4 times and probably have it down. But you could definitely tell when somebody isn't comfortable delivering their rhymes over a track. So it's all about just going over it so I get comfortable with it.
So what is it like in the studio with Matthew? Like, I know you guys are just ill together. Like, from Twitter that I'm like a fan, and I would never ever cook him bacon that's not turkey bacon. Like, I think it's mad funny how passionate he is about turkey bacon. Like, that is hilarious to me. But what is it like in the studio with him? Like, just actually sitting and vibing out with him? Because I think he is nothing short of a genius. Like, I love everything he touches. Like, Brownsville Jesus. I actually, when I downloaded it, I didn't know it was a part 1 and part 2. Like, I didn't know it was going to be that long. But when it downloaded to my phone, I'm like, why did I download this twice? And I opened it, I'm like, oh, wait, no, it's 2 tapes. But the whole story was dope. Like, everything was dope. What is that like to be?
Yeah, he definitely is awesome, because since I live in Richmond and he's in Brooklyn, we don't get the chance to be in the studio physically together a lot. But when we are, it's a really dope experience, because we get to actually vibe out and bounce ideas off of each other.
Right.
Like, it's cool working with him because he's very open to receiving, your ideas and giving you everything that, is on his mind as well. So you could definitely get a real good collaborative effort, working with him. And, he's just a really dope artist. So it's awesome to watch people spit dope lyrics in person and actually see the wheels turning when they're formulating ideas and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And to see how they go back and revise their rhymes and, you know what I'm saying, how they work on their delivery and stuff like that is just cool to pick up on, you know, and you learn from other artists, which makes you a better artist.
Absolutely.
But, you know what I'm saying, he's a very focused individual in the studio.
And I was wondering, like, okay, I know you got, because of the distance, you don't do it often, but everything sounds like you guys are right next to each other. Like, I know it's not supposed to sound different, you know, it's supposed to sound like you vibed out, but it's like you guys immediately pick up on the other one's energy, even if it's, you know what I mean, you recording and you sending it to him and him sending it back. Like, the energy is so crazy. It's like, it's so in tune, and I think that that's one of the reasons I love when you guys collab together, because I'm like, okay, here we have this genes and here we have this genes, and now they're gonna come together and create this like beautiful, I can't even describe it, but I just think it's really, really ill. Like, you guys are dope.
Well, we've been knowing each other for over 10 years. Okay. You know what I'm saying? If that helps any, you know, about, you know, get the vibes from each other. But yeah, we've been friends for a really long time, and you know, over the last couple of years, we've become even closer. You know, with the Worldwide Paper Gang and all. So it's easy, you know, when you have a good relationship with somebody personally, to make better music with them.
Absolutely, I can completely understand that. Now, can you tell me how important punchlines are to you? Because I know some artists just like, do you spend a lot of time focusing on what you're going to say, or do they just come? Because I mean, a lot of artists don't, some artists don't take them, and then a lot of artists focus just on punchlines. But I noticed that it's a lot, it's different with you. Like, you give us actual substance, and then we can catch some punchlines in there too. Like, it's not it's not a jab thing that you do, which I think is ill. But how important are punchlines to you?
Punchlines aren't necessarily too important to me, because I mean, it's all about how you say what you're trying to get across. You know, if you don't deliver a punchline in the right way, it's going to be whack anyway.
That's true.
They're not too important to me. It's definitely dope to hear a nice punchline that coincides with the message that you have in your verse, but I don't think they're necessarily too important to me. I like to really hear. I like to really go for like the flow and the conviction in what you're saying, and the truthfulness, and just the wittiness of how you deliver your words. Because you can be witty without having to, you know, put together a punchline or a bunch of metaphors and stuff. It's just the words that you choose to rhyme together sometimes could be even doper than somebody saying a real ill punchline. You know what I'm saying? Just putting two words together that, you know what I'm saying, nobody has thought to rhyme together before, or wouldn't usually think would go together. I think it's more important to have a dope delivery and a good flow than to necessarily fill your verses up with punchlines.
That's very true.
And stuff like that.
That is very true. I dig that answer a lot. Who are your influences? Like, who did you grow up listening to, and who is it? What person right now, today, if you listen to something by them, you would immediately be inspired to put something down on paper?
So, early on, I really liked Bad Boy, like The Lox and Mace. Harlem World album were the first two albums I ever actually like went to the store myself and bought at the time. I think I was like 12 or 13 or something like that. And then after that period, like, I got into Jay-Z a lot. You know, of course, the whole Rockefeller, like, State Property was definitely a big part of, like, high school life. And then, even before that, in middle school, I was a really huge Cannabis fan. Like, Cannabis was my favorite rapper at that point in time.
You know, people don't say that often, so that's ill.
Yeah, Cannabis, he was super dope at the time, but I don't know. Method Man was a very big influence on me early on. Like, Method Man period was like kind of right after Cannabis was like my favorite. Like, they were like in my top three, and then
what makes what makes Method Man one of your favorite? What is it that he does that
I just like his delivery and his style,
Okay.
and like how he will say awkward things, but you know what I'm saying, it'll sound normal the way he's saying it because his flow and his delivery is just so smooth. Like, yeah, Method Man is a real dope artist. He's one of those timeless artists to me that, you know, anytime I hear him, he's gonna be dope to me. Like, he just his persona just isn't whack to me. But
that's true.
Yeah, after State Property, like I remember when I graduating high school, Lupe Fiasco was coming out, and as I started down on a lot of his mixtapes, you know, after I heard him on Kanye's album, I went back and did my research, and he like instantly became my favorite artist after that. And yeah, he was a heavy influence on me after my high school years.
I can see that.
Still, if I hear stuff from him today, I'll be inspired. I get it. It's not necessarily, you know, certain artists I get inspired from nowadays, because I feel like now that I'm older, I have a different process of, you know, evaluating music and taking it in for myself. So, you know, sometimes an artist will drop something that I might not necessarily like, and sometimes something else I might get inspired by. You know, like I do like you know, the usual folk, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, you know, the usual folk that, you know, putting out you know, decent music. It's not hard to tell who's putting out, you know, decent music right now. But, you know, not everything from them inspires me. Sometimes it might be the beat that they're on. Sometimes it might be a hook that somebody has, or a particular line. But I feel now it's a lot harder to find inspiration than it was before. You know, when I was early on, like when I was you know, listening to State Property and stuff a lot, and, you know, going through my Rockefeller phase. That was probably when I felt the most inspired with music.
Okay.
Like I wanted to emulate it the most. What I was taking in.
Right.
But
Is it just the content? Basically, is it just because so much trash is not getting filtered out that you kind of...
Yeah, and it's like it's like a lot. It seems like everybody's into the same thing, or is like doing the same thing, or is talking about the same stuff. It seems like everybody who is in that light is living like the same type of lifestyle.
Gotcha.
And I mean, maybe it's because dudes is, I don't know, maybe it's because they already have reached a certain plateau before you know you get exposed to them or something. But I just feel like back in the day, you know, when I was younger, you just had so many different guys to choose from. You had, like, you know, you had your Outkast, Busta Rhymes, NWA, Common, Tribe, Wu-Tang. Like, it was such a melting pot of stuff. Then you had, like, your Biggies, Nas, Jay.
And now everybody is the same person. Like,
it feels like everybody is into literally like the same stuff.
Gotcha. That's I never really thought about it like that, actually. Like, I spend time trying to break it down, and I've never thought about it like that. They pretty much are the same person. Well, except Kendrick, because he's number one. Like, threes up all day.
I feel like everybody could chill together without there being like conflict. Like, everybody could sit in the same room and vibe and chill together, which necessarily that's not a bad thing.
But it's not necessarily good for the culture either. You know what I mean?
You couldn't see like DMX, you know what I'm saying, kicking it with like a Tribe Called Quest, like on a heavy level to where they're you know, vibing out by themselves. Right. Just kicking it as friends. But I mean, I guess it's not necessarily a bad thing for everybody to be kind of on the same page. But I just would like to hear a lot more different content.
Right.
Than what's out right now.
Okay, so we are going to get into something that's a bit deeper because I seen you tweet about it, and I haven't really expressed my opinion on the situation yet. So not to give him any more media attention than he deserves, but the whole Donald Sterling thing. Now I seen you tweeting about your feelings on the situation, so I want you to talk to me about what you think, what happened. Basically, just talk to me about the whole situation.
Well, my comments weren't necessarily directed at the situation because I think that it's awesome that a heavy hand was brought down on him for his frame of mind,
Right.
being in the position that he is in society, because the fact that he was illegally taped, that kind of weighs into it too. You can't necessarily it is kind of a slippery slope when you start saying that you can punish people for what they are privately
Pillow
saying.
talking.
But it's a big difference when you're a boss and you have employees under you and you have a frame of thinking that can affect the actual product and the brand. You know what I'm saying? You have to do something about that. But my whole point was how he could have such disdain for minorities, period, and still make it to the level he is in society.
Right.
That's just mind-boggling to me that we live in a country where a man can have total disregard for black people's, Hispanics, Asians,
Right.
and still make it to the plateau that he's at, because on his way to the top he probably never had to interact with a minority in a way that he had to be cordial to them or kiss their ass to get to the next level.
Absolutely.
He probably only had to interact with all white people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But a black person or any minority, you know what I'm saying, it's very hard. I don't think it would be possible for them to have that mentality about white people, to have the total disdain and disregard for
and
white
then still
people
make
that
it
he does
to that level.
and still make it to that plateau, because somewhere along the line you're gonna run into a white person that
you're gonna have to shut up. Yeah. Right. I'm with you.
It's just crazy to me, that he, because he. Like I said, he won a long time ago in my eyes, as far as the game of life. Like, he's pretty much been able to do what he's wanted to do.
Absolutely.
When he wanted to do it, and he's gotten his money. He's gotten away with it. He's been to court numerous times, settled out, and even, they said there's reports of him laughing at the amounts of money that they wanted him to settle for, because it was nothing but a drop in the bucket to him. So it's like, all right, I still can do what I want to do.
Right.
And I'm going to even take some of my money and I'm going to pay the NAACP for me to get an award.
That's
so that there won't be any questions for my actions, you know what I'm saying?
And then they were still going to give him the award, though. They still didn't want to back down on giving him the award because they still wanted the money. And so now I'm questioning everything that they've done. You know what I mean? Is it really...
That's just human nature, in my opinion. You just have some people that care about themselves rather than a bigger cause. But
I get that. I'm with it. I think one of my things, though, with the whole situation is people get so upset and they're so pro-black when something like this happens, but then they don't do anything about it. You know what I mean? That irritates me. It bothers me a little bit, because they get upset, they get so super emotional when something like this happens, when somebody says something that they don't like, or something that they feel is disrespectful, but then they do something every day to disrespect the culture and to disrespect the legacy. That's why I don't get too riled up. You know what I mean? When things happen, because I'm like, okay, so you get mad because you were stereotyped, but then yesterday you did everything in the stereotype. You know what I mean? So what are you really mad at? How mad are you at the truth? Not saying that he was correct by any means, but I'm just saying, today we're going to pull together and we're going to talk about this and we're going to be so mad at him, but then nothing's going to change. You know what I mean? People don't do what's necessary to get people out of this frame of mind. So I don't know. It was just an interesting topic to talk about in general to me, but I just hadn't done it.
Well, it sounded like to me his frame of mind wasn't necessarily, in the stereotype, space. To me, it sounded like he just genuinely believed that
right.
minorities were
Right.
not equal up to white folks, and that it was just a subhuman factor, going on in what he was trying to say. The fact that he, brought up the fact that I provide them clothes, cars, it's like who sets up the games and all this.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, and as the story unfolds, it kind of, brings up different feelings. So I'm with it. I just think I don't know, it's kind of interesting to get somebody else's take on what's going on. So how do you feel about them like flipping the shirts inside out? And you know what I mean? Like, was that enough? Like, what do you think as a team they should have done? Because now, mind you, they really aren't that great. Like, they're better now, but they really aren't that great. So they have this chance at this chance, huh?
Who's not that great?
Clippers. The Clippers. What? You okay?
The Clippers not that great?
Nah.
The Clippers are pretty good right now.
They're pretty right. But did you catch what I said? I did say that they haven't been that. They're better now, but they hadn't been that great. So they have this chance to get the championship. So should they have not played? Like, what do you think?
I mean, that's a pretty tough question. It depends on how. It's hard to say. It depends on how history shakes out. Because if this thing is like forgotten 10 years from now, then in my eyes, I say they probably should have boycotted at least one game, so that, because if they would have did that, it would have been unprecedented. It would have never. That's like something that's not necessarily hasn't happened before. Somebody boycotting a game in the playoffs. So that would have never been forgotten in NBA history.
Absolutely.
And it would have never been forgotten why it happened.
Right.
Now,
but them flipping shirts inside out, like, we probably already forgot.
Yeah. In this part of NBA history, it won't be forgotten either, but
it just won't be remembered in the dynamic that it probably should have been remembered.
Yeah,
in,
like
you know what I mean?
Yeah, as far as like society, society is something to remember, that because it's bigger than him just being an NBA owner and having these feelings. Like, he is in the position to directly mess with people's lives. Like, he owns property that people
right.
Like, this guy is a billionaire. He's part of the 1% of society. Like, he has a lot of power in society, and for him to have that frame of mind is kind of scary, because it's like, he can't be the only one thinking like that.
Very true. So now you're kind of looking at everybody like, but what do you really think about me? Like, what do you...
Yeah, because, I mean, like, there's a lot of... Because I know there's, like, a lot of old black people that still have a certain frame of mind, and that's an old white guy, so... It's hard to wrap your head around, because a lot of people say, a lot of people give certain people a pass because they say it's the way they were raised and just going off what they know. But I believe as a human being, at a certain point, you should be able to acquire knowledge for yourself.
Absolutely.
And if you're not doing that, if that's not happening for you, if you're just going through the motions of living and going off what you've been taught as like a child, then to me your existence is not being fulfilled. You know what I mean?
That's deep. That is really, really deep. I am not going to talk about the situation anymore. Like, that's deep. I like that. I'm gonna just shut up. Just probably for a very long time. No, that was good though. That's very good. Or on to something lighter. Yeah, that's crazy. Let me get my mind together. All right. If you could collaborate with anybody, period, who would it be, and what would the song be about? Just one. I mean, this is your best song, period. Like, the best song ever. I want to know who it would be. And it could be dead or alive. We can do that. Unless it'll be easier to just do alive.
You said my best song ever. Now I'm being kind of selfish now because I don't want any other rappers on it.
Okay, so it won't be. I like that. Yeah. okay. It doesn't have to be your best song ever. Let's just make it your best song yet. Okay, is that less selfish?
Man, trying to think. I don't want to be too overzealous here, because I mean, a lot of people would probably say this, but it would be awesome. You know what? If you said Dead or Alive.
Yeah, I'll let you have Dead or Alive.
I can't really pick. It's like a couple people. It's a lot of people.
Maybe somebody else can be on the remix, but just one.
There's like 3 guys in contention here.
Nah, I'll stop with the Jeopardy music.
All right, all time, like, dream song to have somebody be on there would probably be Michael Jackson.
Okay. What would the song be about? What would you and Michael Jackson come up with in the studio session together? You guys are in there, like I'm pretty sure he had a studio in Neverland. You are at the Neverland Ranch, and he's talking to you about life. He's showing you all the pictures on the walls. He showed you the arcade and the monkey and like everything. You had a full day with Michael Jackson. You rode all the rides. You climbed the tree.
It would have to be something to do with love or peace, because that's what all his records were about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just the type of person that he was.
It's very true.
So, like, either had to be something about love or peace, or just, like, uplifting the world or the environment or something like that.
Okay. Which is what you would be really good at that. That's a very good collaboration, actually. Y'all have to see what I can do.
So I could kind of take it in a more scientific way than probably Michael could.
Right.
Make it more grounded for people.
That's dope, though. That's really ill. I wish that could happen. I mean, I don't know. You never know. They got all kind of crazy stuff going on right now. He just released a song the other day with Justin Timberlake. I know. Yeah, it could happen. Let's shoot for that.
You dance to him.
Right. So, now lastly, what are you working on right now? What do you have? What are you doing? What can we look forward to? Like, I know you constantly give us tracks. Like, I know you guys are always working. But I want to know what project you're focusing on the most right now.
I'm working on my solo EP right now called Geek Squad.
Okay.
Pretty much, my personality is I'm very into like science and technology, but kind of in a nerdy way, but in a
that's dope though.
In a very cool way.
Okay.
As well, like cool technologies and stuff, not like necessarily like pocket protectors and none of that stuff.
Oh, I mean, you sure? Because pocket protectors are cool. Pins do explode.
Like I'm currently trying to research the best sound bar that I can buy. In a decent price range, but like cool technologies like that. I don't know why, for some reason, I've just found out about the motion sensor trash cans.
My God, yes, because absolutely, we have one. As soon as you wave your whatever in front of it, it just opens up. That is so cool.
Why doesn't everybody have one of those?
I have no idea. Where did you get yours from? Bed Bath & Beyond?
I ordered it from Walmart.
Really? Okay.
I feel like they should be like flat screen TVs now. Like
right, like nobody should have to have a top off of the trash can and we shouldn't have to touch it, period. Just
it's ridiculous.
That's really cool. That's funny.
Society is just now giving me this gift. I will never.
You are hilarious. I think it's dope that you're mad excited about that, though. Like, I think that speaks volumes, actually.
Because I'm moving into a new place next month. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I see you with your boxes.
You said what?
I said, I see you with your boxes. I see you getting it together.
So I was online looking at some appliances, and I came across the electronic trash can, and I was like, really? I've never seen this in anybody's house. Nobody has exposed me to this before. Why am I'm hanging around the wrong people? Obviously.
Did that make you reevaluate your home? Everybody in your life? Like, you know what, Mom? You have to go. Because you didn't tell me that they were electronic.
I can't even lie. I was reading the reviews on it, and I felt some type of way when the lady said she had hers for 7 years. And had no issues. I was like, Jesus, it is 2014, and I don't have one of these. Like, what is going on? I'm behind the curve.
Hands down, the best thing I'm going to hear all weekend. I already know. And it's only 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. And I already know that this is the best. Like, that is hilarious.
Yeah,
Is that going to go on the EP? Can we get that in?
I can portray some of that, personality in the EP, like that. I'm into that type of stuff, but also cool. Like, just an overall cool individual, you
absolutely.
know what I mean?
Which I can absolutely see this right here. Like, I know.
And I love interaction with females and, the normal vices of life that, your average man might have. You know what I'm saying? I go to work every day like the regular guy. Like, I have a lot of relatable things in my life that I can offer in an artistic way that hopefully people will react to positively and
gotcha.
Make them gravitate to something that's more grounded and real, as opposed to people that's living a lifestyle that they can't really attain at the moment.
Gotcha. That makes you real though. I'm with it. Do you have a date range? I mean, yeah, I know.
Early July. I'm actually shooting for July 7th. 2014.
All right.
My birthday is on the 8th, so I'm hoping I can complete everything and have everything mixed by that time.
Oh, you do your own mixing too?
I do not. I actually record at home and I send them off to one of my homies named D Polo in New York.
Okay. Cool. Okay, well, it was definitely nice talking to you. I feel like I finally found Waldo. You are right here. I do appreciate you taking this time. I did not mean to interrupt your cartoons and cereal. It is Saturday morning. I'm going to let you get back to that. And your trash cans and all your cool other gadgets that you have. Thank you so much for taking the time to kick it with me and giving me this exclusive. Like, I just feel so exclusive right now.
It was an awesome interview.
Well, thank you.
You got a pretty dope DVD collection back there behind you too.
You can.
I hope those aren't DVDs, though. I really hope those are Blu-rays.
I mean, how behind would I sound if I say they're DVDs? But this is like a collection over time, though. You know what I mean?
For just finding out about my electronic trash can.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to Walmart to go buy Blu-rays today, okay? Just because you said something.
All Blu-rays.
And turkey bacon.
TV. Please don't disrespect it with low resolution video content.
That's the second funniest thing. You are on a road. What did you eat for breakfast? Like, what kind of cereal was it, sir?
Yeah, I told you I was folding clothes earlier.
You are dope. You are too dope. I'm going to get off this conversation before I incriminate myself even more, because I don't want you to see that it's still VHSs back there too.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Have a good day, sir.
All right. Have a good one, too.
Thank you.